meeting. Agenda Tuesday, February the 16th. Is Tuesday, February 16th, 2021. Exactly 2:10. We do have 4 commissioners, and so we do have a quorum. We have Commissioner Mercer, we have Commissioner Sue, we have Commissioner Brock, and we have Commissioner Charles here in the house.
Good afternoon. We're going to call this board of commissioner meeting to order. Any public comments?
Ms. Mendes, any public comments?
I received none, no.
At this time, we have a new commissioner on our board. Commissioner Mira, we'd like for you to just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. I am originally from Jacksonville, wasn't born here, but grew up here. Finished school here, went to UNF, have a bachelor's in political science and public administration. Professionally, I've been in or around construction all my life. Recently, out of the last 4 or 5 years, I own an air conditioning company in town. I have extensive construction background, multifamily, focused on turning apartments into condominiums, so I understand the process and the construction aspect of multi-housing and that area.
Well, we thank you and we welcome you to our board. Thank you. At this time, we would like to make a motion for approval for our minutes for November the 16th, 2020, and our special board meeting for December the 15th, 2020.
Okay, hold on, yes.
Hey,
I'm
good
sorry.
morning.
I'm
Thank
sorry.
you. Thank you, Chair Brock. Good morning.
Good morning.
Board members. Mrs. Brock, I didn't know if this was the appropriate time since you have one member that is dialing in the board to allow that member to participate, because the board can allow to participate as long as there's an extraordinary circumstance. So the way that we did last time, when I think it was one of the other board members that was participating by phone, was the chair will state on the record, you have a board member participating by phone. Is the board okay with that? And if there are no objections, then that would allow Ms. Phillips to please participate and vote.
Okay, I'm so sorry. Your phone broke up part of your message that you was giving to us. Were you asking if we would make a motion for Ms. Phillip to participate because she's on the phone? Was that what you were saying?
Yes, through the chair, and you don't really need a motion as the chair. I think you could be in proper posture if you did it by general consensus, which simply means you would state that, if no one has any objections of Mrs. Phillips participating by phone, since we have our physical quorum present, then we will allow her to participate by phone.
Oh, okay. Is it any objections for Ms. Phillip participating to the Board of Commissioners? She's on the phone. We have any? We don't have any.
Perfect. Okay, so seeing no objections, Ms. Phillips can participate in the vote that's on the table.
Okay.
And I apologize for not mentioning her name when I was calling out the commissioners going around the room. She is on the line, that is correct.
Yes, sir. So at this time, we're gonna pick back up where we left off. We were gonna get a motion for our minutes. We had no board meeting for the month of January 2021. If everyone has reviewed the minutes, is it any corrections to our minutes to the Board of Commissioners?
I have one in December.
Okay.
The end of the, let's see, the chairman comments on the bottom. Let's see the committees. We shifted around the committee members. And I believe I am in charge of governance and oversight committee, not in the finance committee. I will be supporting all other committees.
Right,
I do know that I'm in government.
right. You-
Thank you.
With the necessary approval to our minutes for correcting our minutes for December 15th, 2020. Is there any other corrections to our minutes that anyone saw on the board? If not, we make a motion for our minutes to be approved with the necessary corrections for December the 15th, 2020.
So moved.
We need a second.
Second,
Okay. Mr. Charles moved the motion. It was seconded by Ms. Commissioner Sue, and Commissioner Charles made the motion. All in favor accepting our minutes with the necessary approval for December the 15th, 2020? Would you vote by saying aye?
aye.
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 Thank you. Our minutes have been approved with the corrections. Comments from the chair. We would like
Sorry,
to,
Madam Chair, did we do November 16th?
Hmm?
Did we do November 16th minutes?
yes, sir. You had corrections on November the 16th. I called it out.
No, I just thought we just did December 15th. I didn't know-
No, we had a correction on December the 15th. I called out November the 16th, 2020, and our special meeting December the 15th, 2020.
So we did them both at the same time?
Yes, sir. And we had a correction for December's on. Would you like to do them one at a time? Okay. Council, is we okay with that, doing them together, or do we need to go back and do them one at a time?
Right, through the chair, if the motion included both sets of minutes, you can certainly do that all in one motion.
Okay, okay, thank you. At this time, we have comments from the chair. I would like to acknowledge today that we have a new president for our RAB board, which is that heads up our residents, and her name is Sarah Wilson. Vice President is Barbara Shantez for our RAB board. At this time, we have new officers for the RAB board, and we would like to make mention so that our Board of Commissioners would know that we do have a new president for the RAB board. Also, I would like to thank Mr. Jonathan, Commissioner Jonathan, for his work that he done while he was here with us on our board. He done such an excellent job. We definitely gonna miss him from being with us, and I just want to publicly thank him for the work that he's done with the Jacksonville Housing Authority as a commissioner. And we definitely want to welcome our new commissioner again to our board. Thank you. At this time, we will have our finances from our finance department. Mr. Dennis will come with his presentation.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. We're looking at the financial reports today for the month ending January 31st, 2021. This is the fourth month of our fiscal year, so we're looking at our finances to be about 33%.
Chief. You got it.
Sorry about that, we're having some technical issues.
So double checking that.
Starting with our net operating income by source, we have our chart that shows our net operating income for the month of January. Our operating income was $897,284, and year to date we're at $2,092,698. Looking at our central office cost center, we're right on target with our income for the month. We're at 33%, which is what we have budgeted. We're off by about $9,000, which is excellent for an agency our size. Looking at our expenses for the central office, we're at about 35%, so we're a little higher than what we were anticipated, primarily due to utilities being over budget and a little bit of administrative expense being over budget, but we still have cash flow for the central office, which is very good. For public housing, our income is at 40%. We're still receiving operating subsidy for the Hogan Creek property, which is making our income be a little bit higher. We're anticipating closing on the property on March 31st. We'll have some income being over budget for a couple more months. Our expenses, though, for public housing are right on track at 33%. So we're keeping everything in line, so that's very good. And then moving on to our Section 8 program. We're 2% under budget for our administrative fees. HUD will finance these to us at the beginning of the year, January, February, based on the prior year amount, and then they'll true us up as they get our leasing numbers. So we're under budget, but we're still doing very well. Our expenses for month year to date are also at 31%, so we're still favorable overall in our budget.
I'm sorry, David.
Yes.
Is this in 1231 or 131?
131.
Thank you very much.
Yes. Yes. For Gregory West, which is our affordable property, we're at 34% for our income. Income year to date is $522,000. So that's very good, 1% over budget. Our expenses are at 30%, $264,000. So our affordable property is doing very well for us. And then for our other affordable housing and our RAD properties, right now we're at 15% of our income. We were anticipating closing the Hogan Creek property earlier. So those numbers are not included in here, so they're making the income numbers look lower. And our expenses are at 32%. So that's also due to low occupancy because of the Hogan Creek conversion. For our cash standing, we ended the month right at $34 million, so we're excellent as far as our cash is concerned. And finally, every month we look at our quick ratio and our MENR. Our quick ratio is the number of times our cash can cover our liabilities, and the MENR is the number of months that we can operate the housing authority without getting any additional funding from the federal government. And for our quick ratio, is ranging from 3 times to over 10 times, excuse me. So that's very good. And our DNR is ranging from 7 months all the way up to about 21 months. So overall, the agency is doing very well with its finances. Are there any questions?
Before we go to any questions, Mr. Dennis, I would like for our legal team to explain to our commissioners, it's for our new commissioner, how we do when we have to ask a question.
Right. Through the chair, can you hear me okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so you mean just ask a question during one of your staff's presentations?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so for the new commissioner, the way that it really depends on the prerogative of the chair. Once one the staff has come and they presented any item to the board, is typically common for the commissioners to ask questions after the staff person has presented, and it's just an open question. I mean, the staff is there to serve you as commissioners and give you all the information that you need to understand the agency, and particularly to decide on any items that you need to vote on. Does that answer the question?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. I just wanted him to know, so he'll know. Okay. Any questions for Mr. Dennis? If seeing no questions for Mr. Dennis, can I get a motion for our finance?
So moved.
Second, I second.
Thank you. At this time, we have our resolutions, presentation for our resolutions, Board of Action. Mr. Alexander?
Sorry, Madam Chair.
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Through the chair, and I may have missed this, was the finances, did they need to be approved, or was that just a presentation? I heard a motion and a second. I'm not sure I heard a final vote.
Oh, yeah, I didn't do a final vote. I'm sorry. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Can I get a final vote for our finances to be approved? All in favor? Aye. No opposed? Okay. Thank you. Presentation for our resolutions for Board of Action.
Yes. Thank you, Madam Chair. Resolution number 2021 JHA 01, approved write-off $48,317.80 in delinquent public housing rent. This is basically unpaid rent, maintenance costs, and some legal costs that are associated with that delinquent rent. Rent collection over that same period of time was 98.8%. It's basically a quarterly report. We bring this to the board every quarter, and we're asking the board to approve this write-off.
Before we put it to discussion and a motion, is it any public comments on this resolution? JHA 01. Any public comments? Seeing that there's no public comment, it is open to the Board of Commissioners for discussion. Any discussion? Seeing that there's no discussion for JHA 01, can I get a motion?
So moved.
I'll move this time.
Second.
It was moved by Ms. Sue and second by Mr. Charles. All in favor by saying aye?
Aye.
Aye. A second resolution.
Okay, thank you. Resolution 2021 JHA 02 to approve the write-off of $13,260.50 in delinquent repayment agreements, accounts receivable. This is also a quarterly report based on fraud, collection, and unreported income. And they're asking the board, staff is asking the board for approval for this as well.
Any public comments for 2021 JHA 02 resolution? Yes.
Through the chair, I just wanted to remind you that because you've taken the public comment in the beginning, you actually don't have to open it up. But if you want to as chair, you can, but you're not required to because you already had the public comment in the beginning. I just wanted to remind you that. Thank you.
Thank you. Seeing that there's no, is it any public comments? Seeing that there's no public comments, I open it for discussion for the Board of Commissioners. Any discussion on 2021 JHA 02? Being that there's no discussion, I ask for a motion.
So moved.
Second, I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, Ms. Phillips. Our third resolution.
Yes, we're asking the board resolution number 2021 JHA3 to approve the document.
Excuse me, Madam Chair. Before you go to the next resolution, I've just received a phone call that a family member has been found deceased in our home, and I'm going to have to get off this call. I'm so sorry, but I have to leave the meeting.
We sorry.
More in the room, don't you?
Yes, ma'am. You have our deepest sympathy. We sorry, Commissioner Phillip.
Thank you.
Be safe. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Mr. Alexander, excuse us.
Yes.
Thank you.
Resolution 2021 JHA03 to approve the Jobs Plus Center remodeling contract for Southland Villa, to award the bid to Charles Perry Partners for $252,000. And this is to make sure that that unit become compliant and we get it up to speed as far as code, ADA standards, and the whole dynamics of that building is changing because of the foot traffic. And this, we're modifying this building based on the fact that we received that $2.3 million from that Job Plus grant that we won a couple months ago. So we're asking the board to approve this so we can retrofit that building for these services.
Okay. I would like to open up to any public comments for Resolution 2021 JHA 03. Any public comments? Seeing that there's none, I would like to open it up for discussion to the Board of Commissioners.
Yes, I have questions. Who, can you tell us about Charles Perry Partners, their relationship with?
Well, we actually,
Housing Authority,
say that again.
and the relationship with the Housing Authority, if they have any, I know it's a piggyback, that may not indicate that they've done business with us before.
Well, we went through Sourcewell, which is we go through to get vendors from that was pre-approved, and piggyback off of them. He seemed the most qualified person for a specific job, so that's why we chose him. But we haven't had a previous relationship with him.
Are they local?
Yes.
I guess probably now is not the time to be asking some of those detailed questions, but I'll get with you there. So I want to know more about their track record in terms of MBE hiring, MBE and WBE hiring, and how that is going to bear into this contract.
Well, we do reach out to many vendors. Actually, we just take a whole new path recently by putting all our ads in newspapers and Facebook, and we've been doing a lot more advertising. And to be exact, and I encourage you all, on February the 24th and the 25th, between the hours of 10 and 12, we have a vendor summit, which has not happened in the past, so we can get more people to try to do business with the Housing Authority. So we've been trying to take an active approach. Housing Authority for many years to try to get more people involved in, because every time I seem to be somewhere, someone asking how do they get involved with the Housing Authority to do business. And we advertise on the marketplace, and we put that information out there, but we're trying to take a little bit step further to actually advertise a little bit more and start and have these these vendor summit, which the first one is the 24th and the 25th.
Okay, but I was concerned more about them now because since they've been awarded the contract, what are they doing as an agency, as a company? And how is that going to, how it will work with this agency? And what are their partners going to look like engaged in this project?
Moving forward,
Yeah, for this project, what are their partners, what are their vendors, their subcontractors going to look like for this project?
well, yeah, I mean, we go through the HUD process, and they'll meet the requirements as far as HUD program is concerned. We are always encourage minority participation, and we still trying to do much more research, or not research, outreach, to get more people involved, if that's correct.
I understand, as you know,
Yes.
I'm going to, it's important to me because I know that some agencies are doing better jobs than others. When I say agencies, I'm talking about government entities are doing better jobs than others. And I just want us to be doing the best job that we can be doing as relates to how our tax dollars are disseminated through these private companies that they do business with us. And certainly there's opportunity for them to, if they are meeting all of the standards, so be it. If they're not, then we'd like to see how they plan on addressing.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Commissioner Sue.
Thank you, Mr. Grace. That was the question I was going to ask, but I'm glad you did. And I think it is a great idea reaching out more vendors and then open for more community, and because it's better than just repeating the same vendor and do it. Just curious, how many vendors or bidders are for this particular?
How
many people you consider, other companies or other vendors, did you consider particularly for this one?
It varies with each specific job.
Yes.
I'll just tell you just as recently, a couple weeks ago, I gave some remarks at Women in Construction, because you don't have a whole lot of women in construction even bidding on jobs, but most of them that at this conference wasn't aware that the Housing Authority have these type of contracts here. We have a construction contract, we have plumbing contracts, we have air conditioning contracts, we have IT contracts. Most people, when they think of the Housing Authority, think of the typical we even have legal contracts. We have a legal contract out there, so it's a lot of minority women vendors out there for legal services. When they think of the Housing Authority, typically they think of a landscaping contract or a unit turn contract, but we're a lot more in depth and we have a lot more facet and a lot more opportunities going on in the Housing Authority than the traditional things that surface with the Housing Authority. We think of the Housing Authority. As a matter of fact, we spent almost about $77 million in construction. So we consider ourselves a major player in the market here. We discuss all the time, folks. We have we pay out in excess of anywhere between $4.5 to $4.7 million every single month to landlords. So we contribute quite a bit to this economy here. Our new stance is that we're trying to increase the Section 3 program, and we've been very successful at getting folks in on that Section 3 program, and the Resident Services Department is really pushing the issue with this Section 3 thing, and this is the reason why we created this vendor summit, to be able to get more vendors involved so that we can be able to expand and do other things.
Yes, Commissioner.
I'm sorry,
Very good.
Were you
That's
through?
good.
Okay.
I'm good. Thank you.
Yes.
I was wondering, is this a general contracting firm or more of a
Yes.
consultant?
The general contract, yes.
And when we put out these projects to bid, what are the qualifications? Are there any overlays that HUD requires? And how simple is it to bid on these projects?
It is, they just have to meet the requirements. Let me give you the expert on this. Colleen, is you online?
Yes, sir, I'm here. I've been
Yes, sir.
fighting at the bid here.
Right.
Come on in.
Hello. I didn't quite hear the question. What was that again?
Yes, could you ask that again, Commissioner?
Yeah, the question is, what is the qualifying process, and when we put it out for bid, is it, how difficult is it for a minority business to qualify for a project?
It's not difficult at all. It's basically, they just have to have a license like a general contractor, or a roofing contractor, or, electrical contractor. They just have to have a license in order to bid on our jobs. But if I could, I'd go back to the Sourcewell contract. Sourcewell does make their contractors abide by Section 3 regulations. We had already checked into that before we decided to present this to the board for approval. So, and that is one thing that Arthur and I are working on as well. So for the Section 3 qualifications. Does that answer your guys' question?
Well, it brings up another question for me, since we're here, and I have you here. Thank you very much for joining.
Excuse me.
I'm sorry, Madam Chair.
Excuse me.
I was stepping the bounds.
Commissioner, Muir, were you through with your question?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, Commissioner.
I apologize, Madam Chair.
Mm-hmm.
My concern isn't whether or not that Sourcewell is able to vet these organizations, these companies, and they pass, sort of a muster in terms of regulation. My concern is that there are ways for companies to sort of work around those qualifications. And we've seen it happen before, which is why the City Council is currently holding special committee meetings on JSAs, because the system needs to be improved in order to be more efficient and inclusive. I would say that if this company or any company is able to prove or able to, if they're able to establish that they haven't found anyone that they can partner with that's qualified, then they get to move forward with their participation in the contract. But what we've seen is that's not the case. So my question is, going forward, is, are we partnering with people who see, who actually are involved in the intent of the spirit of what we're trying to do here in terms of participation, or are we partnering with people who are good at working around the system? That's what I'm, So that's a bigger question for, way larger than for this resolution. And I'll leave it alone here, but I think we need to have another conversation. And thankfully, to Mr. Alexander's credit, he has been providing the information along the way that's helped me understand some of our policies and work that we're doing in that space. So in terms of the resolution for this one, I'm satisfied, but I certainly like to continue this conversation.
Okay, for sure. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Alexander,
Yes.
I heard you say that they're gonna be getting this unit ready, right? Are we gonna be able to accommodate our residents that possibly may be in wheelchairs?
Yes.
Good. Okay, all right.
The Tony retrofit their building, yes.
Yes, sir. Okay. All right. If that being all of the discussion from the Board of Commissioners, can I get a motion for approval for JHA? I'm sorry, JHA 03.
So moved.
Second. Can I get a second?
I'll second
Okay.
it.
All right. Thank you. All in favor by saying aye. Aye. Resolution 2021 JHA 04.
Yes, we're asking that the board approve resolution 2021 JHA 04 to approve the Yardi software system. This just basically is a renewal contract to go from March 1st, 2021 to February 28th, 2022 for the sum of $376,720.66. And this is a contract we bring to the board every year. You may see a little increase in it this year as been in the past, and part of that is because we have a new compliance module and we have procure to pay And we also have Rent Cafe, which I'll discuss that later when I go through the CEO report.
Okay. That's it? Ms. Alexander, you
Yes,
finished
ma'am.
with that resolution? I would like to open it up for public comments. Resolution 2021 JHA 04. Any public comments? Seeing that there's none, I would open it up for discussion for the Board of Commissioners. Yes, Commissioner Muir.
So is this, this Yardis software, is it kind of like a pretty commonly used software in the housing authorities across the country, or is it just like a management company software, or?
No, Yardi is the largest multi-family software out there. They do a clean across the board. Just over the last 10 to 15 years, they start targeting public housing, which most people don't realize until they really look at it. We're basically just multi-family from a different perspective. But Yardi is the giant out there when it comes to software. They have the most sophisticated systems that help you to be able to navigate, manage, and coordinate any activity in a multi-family setting. So we just added a new module, which is the pay to cure, and we actually added the new compliance module. These things can be done remotely, which most people haven't done in the past. We added Rent Cafe, and I'm glad you asked that question because it opened up the door. We had a Rent Cafe last year that the board approved of. We got that Rent Cafe, and we were able to take online applications. The key component to that is that last year, in 2018, we opened up the waiting list, and just about all the staff that's a part of the staff now went to the fairgrounds, and we worked from 10 o'clock at night to about 4 or 5 o'clock the next day, through the night taking applications in. And we took every bit about 5,000 applications, which took at least 6 months for a whole department to enter into the system after we stayed there all night long. Well, we opened up the waiting list February the 8th of this year, which was last Monday. And the first day, we got over 36,000 people, and there was nobody working late. There was nobody working overnight, and all the information was in the system that same day. So we was able to use this system in one day, and it saved the department of several folks 6 months worth of work.
So it kind of streamlines it, brings it up to 2021.
Yes. Yeah, actually puts you in cyberspace so fast. Yes, so that's the benefit of having that software.
Can tenants put work orders into the software?
They could put work orders in there, they could pay their rent, they could do just about anything. If you put if a tenant put a work order in there right now, they send a notification to that manager, and the manager would know if they don't respond in a timely fashion, they send you a notification back in 4 hours. If it's 6 hours, they send it in 6 hours, but it constantly sends you notifications to that work order address.
Commissioner Sue.
Yes, I have a question. I see that it is a renewal contract, and I see the addition for the Rent Cafe. I guess, as you said, the main reason probably online certification model. In addition to that, that's why it's significant. But I think it's very steep increase. If I see correctly, it was 250, now 376. Right, correct?
I don't know if it was exactly it might have been 270 something or maybe 287. I know it's 2 something at one time. And it goes up as we add these modules because it increases the processes and it increases the efficiency, which even though on the back end we pay more money for the software, but as far as efficiencies, we probably save tons of money.
Right.
If you was to factor in, like I mentioned earlier, the whole department
It's
put in an
beneficial.
application for
Okay.
6 months, a substantial amount of money.
Okay, so although it is significant steep increase, but the benefit is a lot bigger. Is that what you're saying?
10 times better,
10
yes, ma'am.
times better. Okay. Just
Yes.
it's not. I don't want to be. Have you ever tried to reduce some of the fees? Did you try and negotiate that up? That's what I do all the time. Whenever it comes 50% off.
Yes. Well, Ms. Yvonne Mars, who's director of IT, really gives them a hard time. They hate to hear her name. She always try to get the best deal for them.
Good. I'm
at all
glad to
times.
hear that.
Yes.
I'm glad that she's watching the dollars. That's good. Thank you.
Yes.
Any other commissioner, any other discussion?
I'm good.
Okay. If there being no other discussion on resolutions 2021 JHA 04, I need a motion.
I'll move the motion.
Okay. I need approval, all of us, we're gonna approve it by saying aye. Aye. Resolution 2021 JHA 05.
Yes, thank you, Commissioner. This resolution is to approve the fire repairs at a scattered site unit awarded to First Coast Construction in the sum of $319. This unit was completely damaged by a fire. It took a while to get, the estimators out there, the engineer out there. It took forever to get this out for bid. We finally got out to bid, and it got to $319,000. But I would say that we actually get $170,000 from this. We received a check for $170,000 from the insurance company. So that's 170 minus that 319. And we totally remodeled, rehab, and rebuilt these two units. Which is
319 minus the 170.
Yes, didn't I say that?
Yeah, you did.
Yes, okay, yes. So, and we asking the board to approve this.
So the total is,
Excuse me.
I'm sorry,
I would like to open up for public comments for resolutions 2021 JHA 05. Seeing that there's no public comments, I will now open it up to the Board of Commissioners for discussion.
so the total, I'm sorry, Madam Chair, we have,
149.
okay, thank you. Can we get the resolution to reflect that? Or is that an accounting thing?
To reflect that it's 149?
Yes, that
It should be on the record. I mean, we record the meeting, we make sure it's recorded. That is, we got the 170 from the insurance company.
yeah, or at least include that part.
Okay, all right, okay, for sure.
And the gap in the reconstruction, was that the insurance was not adequate, or are we further updating the building?
We're further updating the building, but what happens is, nowadays, these insurance companies really hate to pay, and then we have a $25,000 deductible, so you have to take that off the top too. We have a $25,000 deductible, so if you add that on top of there, that's even further less.
And does the housing authority have any third-party adjuster to work on their behalf to negotiate this with the insurance company, or are we doing that in-house?
Well, yes, we do have a
third party.
Yes, we do, yes.
And is there a fee part of that, or?
Not that I know of.
Okay.
Yes. Good question, though. Very good question.
Any other commissioner? Ms. Alexander, this unit, these two units here, the fire, was any of our residents in those buildings at that
Yeah,
time?
none of them was damaged, none of them was damaged, none of them was injured. It stemmed from a guest at the house cooking and leaving the pot on the stove and then going out the house and forgetting about it.
Oh, okay, great. Thank you, Ms. Alexander. I would like to open up for public comments for resolutions 2021 JHA 05. If there's no public comments, I will now, we already did that part, didn't we? I'm sorry. I would open up for motions to approve 2021 JHA 05 resolution.
I'll move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor with the necessary corrections from Commissioner Charles Briggs for resolutions 2021 JHA 05. Can all in favor say aye? Aye. Resolution 2021 JHA 06, Ms. Alexander.
Yeah, thank you very much, Commissioner Black. I'm very, very, very happy to present and ask the board to approve the agency updated personnel policy. We have been working on this for months after months, and we have
Yes.
meeting after meeting. And I just want to give a shout out to Ms. Ariel Cook, who put a lot of time and effort and tolerance of our mistakes and looking over that document. And we always appreciate Ms. Hodges and her exciting voice and happiness every time you call her. She always got something happy to say. You know, she's always having a great day.
Yes.
But we are so thankful that the folks really care about this agency, help us get this document together. And I would be remiss if I didn't acknowledge our new HR director, Ms. Daphne Reed, who was working as a consultant at the time, who helped us get this document. She's a senior HR professional, and she's a HR professional. She's very smart and very knowledgeable. She's a transplant from the Bethune-Cookman Wildcats. And we have a couple other folks shaking their head on that, but they don't like the Wildcats. But yeah, she's a transplant from the Bethune-Cookman.
For the record, I like to say go Raptors. For the record.
Yes, and we just want to ask the board to approve this document so we can truly have a well-documented, well thought after personnel policy. And this is one of the things with the OIG, I have to put that out there, but thank God for General Counsel. They really truly helped us. Sunday nights, late nights, early mornings. They really, really put some effort in and really truly helped us. I just wanted to acknowledge that, because without them, we would never have this document. So we asked the board to approve this updated personnel policy.
Yes, sir. Okay. I just like to say for the record, as Commissioner Charles said, laughter is good for you.
Yes, yes.
We would like to open up 2021 JHA 06. Any public comments? Seeing that there were no public comments, I would like to open it up for any discussion from the Board of Commissioners.
I just wanted to, sorry, Madam Chair. I just wanted to say, echo Mr. Alexander's comments. This is a long time coming.
Yes.
It's a lot of hard work, and I do really appreciate the effort that's put into this. It's well done. Thank you, everyone.
Any other commissioner?
Well, I would like to say just thank you as, chair of the governance committee. Thank you. I don't have to do anything. You guys did all the job. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, we definitely want to thank our legal team, because as Mr. Alexander said, there's been a lot of time given to this resolution, and we thank y'all so much. And to our new HR, we thank you for what you brought to the table as well. At this time, we're gonna make a motion to approve this resolutions 2021 JHA 06.
So move.
Second.
Okay, it was moved in second. All in favor? Aye. Thank you, Mr. Alexander, for the presentations of our resolutions. At this time, we have our president report from Mr. Dwayne Alexander.
Thank you. I'll keep it brief. Down at Jack's Beach, we had all the 16 buildings. We came back and forth and talked about this 17 times. All 16 of the 16 buildings are completed. We just have about 4 buildings left. Each building have 8 units, and they sporadically occupied. We have stepped up our efforts to advertise that property. We put it on Facebook. If you go to our website, it's on our website. So we're looking to have those units filled as soon as possible. We did have a meeting with the Jack's Beach and Lamb's Beach executive government back in December. and I gave them a PowerPoint presentation. They was very impressed with the property, because we down in their neighborhood. They wanted to really truly know what their neighbors was like, and we gave them a presentation. We also is working on a ribbon cutting ceremony in the coming weeks, so I'll be reaching out to all the commissioners so we can get this situated and finally have our ribbon cutting ceremony in the coming weeks. We're gonna keep it simple because of COVID. We don't want to keep people all bunched up, and want to just limit the people and just celebrate the fact that we was able to get this. This is a monumental task and goal. And when we look at our strategic plan, we have 7 points in our strategic plan, and one of our points in our strategic plan was to do exactly some rad deals and get something completed. So we actually completed that. We're very thankful for that. Centennial Towers, the entire 14th floor have been demolished, and Unit 1312 is a model unit. So if you all get the chance to go around and want to see a model unit, beautiful, beautiful unit over there. The cabinets is beautiful, the appliances is beautiful, the floors is beautiful, beautiful place over there. So we're anticipating the 12th and the 13th floor will be ready by March. And after we get that first floor, we'll be moving our residents that moved off that floor back in there. The first grade folks will be going back in there. And just so the other commissioners know, with Jack's Beach, any person that we relocated off those premises had the first right of refusal to come back. And the ones that wanted to come back came back. It was about 36 or 38 of them that came back.
Okay.
Also, with Hogan Creek, we're anticipating closing on Hogan Creek March the 31st. We're hoping to close at March 31st. We're anticipating all the construction to be finished in here June 22. It's 183 units, but the remarkable thing and the happy thing for us, that development rights agreement, we did get the developer to sign off on, and we get that 80-20 split, but at one point we was 30-20. We'll be bringing that back to the board at some point to get all this thing summed up. But that is really, we're making a lot of progress with that. It was very slow and sluggish at the beginning, but over the last month, they have really made some progress. Luke has been remarkable, Ty has been very remarkable, and Kevin Kinney from Saxon Gilman does excellent work as well. Moving on to the next thing, for those who know and don't know, last month, well, late part of last December, we received 100 additional mainstream vouchers. I sent out a notification to all the board members. That brings an additional $740,000. $740,000, and that's only a year. Now, when you factor that up year after year, that's a substantial amount of money that comes back to this agency. Then HUD called and asked us would we take on another 10 vouchers, which gave us another $90,000 a year. So we're bringing a substantial amount of money into this agency. When people talk about in terms of the housing authority, we are close to $100 million. Our Section 8 program alone receive every bit of $57 million in funding on a yearly basis. So we're very excited about that. Then also, we received, less than a month ago, we received $123,000 for the smoke detectors and carbon monoxide devices. We got that $123,000, and we want to put these devices in every single unit that we could possibly get them in. So that was a gift. We was very thankful. So the holiday's been very good to us because we received that $740,000 Christmas Eve. We received notice of that, and then just recently again, we received that $123,000. We are also waiting for the status of the 25 vouchers we applied for the Foster Youth Independent Grant. As I mentioned earlier, we opened up the waiting list on February the 8th. We was very excited about that. It's the first time we ever opened up an online waiting list. For COVID, we had a couple folks that come to the office. We did accommodate anyone with special needs to come in the building. We helped them with their application, but the bulk of the folks applied online. To be exact, on the very first day that waiting list opened up, we had on February the 8th, we had 3,564 on the first day, 960 on the second day. On the third day, which was the 10th, we had 708. The fourth day, we had 554. On the 12th day, we had 344. And then went all the way down to the 14th, that we had 153. On the 14th Valentine's Day, we only had 153 people apply on Valentine's Day. But it went back up on the 15th, which was 214. So we have a total more than 5,000 people on that waiting list. Very, very successful. So I just want to acknowledge Ms. Kathy Hunt and her whole entire department, and Ms. Evan Mars and her department for providing all that technology, and all the other employees who contribute and help that program be a success. Strategic planning, we have been having strategic planning meetings recently. Me and Heather, we are ramping that up, and I need to get the board members' availability so we can be able to do some strategic planning for the next couple of years, where we want the agency to go, where we want it to happen, how we want to see things. We are anticipating, last board meeting, we did provide the logo, the new logo, which is new and exciting. And we did provide you a little brief PowerPoint on the website. The new website should be up by mid-March. It's very vibrant, it's up to date. The people that work with us work with just about 8 or 9 other housing authorities in the state of Florida. The very renowned, world-renowned and housing. So they're very, very successful and very good. So we want to reach out to the board, see their availability so we can get their input, so we can strategize as we move this agency forward. There's some things out there we want to get into. The neighborhood choice program, which help us develop and build new communities with the funding from HUD. And we also want to look for other ventures that we can go in, because we're sure there's going to be some challenges coming down the pike, and we just want to expand and make sure that we are on the right path. We're doing some more developing and increasing our unit size. Also, finally, as I mentioned earlier, the vendor summit is on the 24th and the 25th from 10 to 12 p.m. I will give a shout out to Ms. Rhonda Lattimore and her department are coordinating this. They've been putting a lot of effort into this. Mr. Murray, Ms. Rhonda is the director over there. They've been really putting time and effort in it. And it's a long time coming for this agency. We want to reach out and get folks involved and expand our businesses, expand the opportunities. So we're very excited with that. And that concludes my report. Any questions?
Commissioner Charles.
I did have a question going back to your, thank you for the great report. It's always very thorough, and I appreciate that. The funding that you're receiving, and it's all good stuff.
Yes.
I think my question relates to the waiting list, the availability. How is that going to impact, the vouchers, the vouchers that are received, future vouchers? How is that going to? How do you see that impacting our waiting list? Are we making a dent in housing shortage? I know you and I talked about shortage of available, affordable housing in our community. Is any of this making an impact on the waiting list or our ability to provide affordable housing? And if not, what can we do as a board, as an organization, to have a bigger impact on? Because what still sticks in the back of my head is the situation that happened on House Road when all people were displaced, and pretty much find there's really nothing we can help to do about that, right? I think that we just should be able to, if it's not anything other than to be able to advise, but we should be able to help. We should be one of those organizations that are able to provide some type of support, even if it's just in the right direction. So for all the money coming in, I just want to see if that's translating into a way for us to make a decision to pay.
So very good questions, very good questions. And responding to the fact that do we direct them? We direct folks every day. That's what we do at the Housing Authority. If we can't provide any assistance for them, we direct them in the area that can provide them some assistance. Because we have a lot of partners here in Jacksonville. So I know most of the time people looking for us for that final housing solution, but we can't always be that final housing solution, but we render other services than just a housing solution. We can direct or provide assistance on many levels. To ask to the question, if the vouchers are help, if we got one voucher, that is a significant increase in our vouchers, and that's one family we can help. So these additional 100 vouchers, that's 100 families that we could possibly help, or 100 people we can possibly help, or 100 people we take off the street we can possibly help. What we do is put ourselves in a good position, because right now, most people always asking where the Housing Authority is at far as this big moratorium that's going to end March 31st. We're going to have all these people back out on the street. Well, when you look at public housing, they only pay 30% of their total income. So whether you have a job or lose your job, your rent change based on your income. So you may be paying $500, and if you lose your job, you pay $0. So they're not impacted. This is the very reason why our rent collection is at 98%, because all they have to do is notify the Housing Authority immediately when they have an increase or decrease in salary. Where's the major concern is that this right now, and you can quote me on this because I got this from Moody Analytics. It is as of January the 31st, they were expecting anywhere between $70 to $75 billion in unpaid rent being out on the street. These are facts. So how do you address that? So how do you address that and you have all these people on the waiting list? Well, the Jacksonville Housing Authority, we have limited housing. We're getting more vouchers, which we can help more people, but we can't move fast enough to address the problem. But we're doing our part. They had a stand down not too long ago, and they had folks out here where they went down here on Jefferson Street, where they identified these folks that are homeless out to find out is 31 of them veterans. We take them all day long. We got vouchers for veterans, send them on down. They got to go through the VA. We can help them get housed in a heartbeat. But we have to connect the dots. The VA have to connect with them to connect with us. But we have the vouchers. The big thing is the folks that's not in public housing, and when it's 70 to 75 billion is due, what do you do? Well, you have all these folks out here that work at anywhere. They lost their income, and they need some assistance. I think the solution may be, from what I hear, based on my experience in the industry, I believe HUD may come up with a specialized voucher to provide to these folks that they're impacted, because people turn to the federal government when they have issues like that. So I don't think that they would create anything. You can't build new housing fast enough. So the only way to address it would be give them a voucher. So I think that the impact that overall 70 to 70,000, 70 billion would be the vouchers. So it comes back to your original thing, the vouchers may be the answer.
Yeah. So in my mind, I think from a practical standpoint, what I see when I see the 5,186 people on the waiting list, every time we get a voucher, that's one person that could potentially be taken off that waiting list.
Yes.
So practically in my head, that's what I'm seeing. But I know it doesn't work like that because some people might not be on the waiting list as like the homeless people, right? And you homeless veterans, I should say. And then you're using those vouchers to accommodate them. They were never on that list in the first place. So we wouldn't be able to say, in a practical standpoint,
Yeah.
sort of be raised it. That's why I try to frame it as the housing shortage.
Right,
versus
it is a big housing
what we
shortage.
have available.
Yes.
Okay.
And what I would say this though too, keep in mind that if we do have 5,000 people on the waiting list, not all 5,000 people may qualify. You may only end up with maybe 1,500 that qualify out of 5,000. I'm just speculating. These are not facts, I'm just speculating. You might end up with only 1,000 out of 5,000. So you can't now, I tell folks all the time, don't feel bad if you number 4,062 because you may, move right through that line quickly.
And also the thing is that we didn't say is that people come off. I mean, if they may find available housing and they never,
Yes.
they don't notify us that they're not,
Yes.
they may not actually be on the.
Very good point.
So,
People come off that waiting list all the time.
but they never.
Yes.
And my other question was around the summit. I know your team has got this laid out, but do you know anything about who you're inviting, and are there other partners involved besides us? I mean, who else is involved as partners, if there are such a thing? And how are you inviting people? What does that universe look like?
Okay, so we reaching out to all vendors. Now, we didn't partner with anybody on this trip because this is our first one.
Okay.
That would be a good thing to do going down the road. It could be the housing authority, somebody else, partner with somebody else who's done it, but we're reaching out to any and everybody with no format. We're reaching out to any and everybody so we get a great participation. But as we move forward, that may be a good thing to do to direct it.
You're just inviting all business owners.
Yes.
Okay. Right. Okay.
Mr. Alexander?
Yes, ma'am.
We are advertising via Facebook, LinkedIn. We're putting it in the Daily Record, the Jacksonville Star, and the Jacksonville Free Press.
Yes. Thank you very much, Ms. Colleen.
You're welcome.
I didn't want to show off with that. I was just trying to keep it modest.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes. Yeah, we really stepped it up this year with putting things out in the paper now.
Great.
Okay, now I gotta go.
Any other commissioner? Any questions? Ms. Alexander? Okay, so Commissioner Charles, he's asking about the waiting list. I wanted to know that I know that the people who applied for the voucher. But I got some calls from people who wanted to not only apply for the voucher, but they wanted to apply for public housing. So if a person applied for the voucher, are they able to still apply for public housing as well?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Anybody who can as a matter of fact, our public housing waiting list has never been closed.
Okay.
We open all the time. It's just the Section 8 been open and closed. But it's been open for more than a week now. And we want to leave it open as long as we can leave it open, but both waiting lists are open.
Okay.
The public housing, we always turning folks over there all the time.
Okay.
Erica Thorpe did a good job in that department.
Okay. And also, I know I believe you said something about this, about the vendors that you're bringing in on the 24th and the 25th of this month. I'm pretty sure that one of the things you're going to be targeting is Section 3, right?
As a whole, yes.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay, super. Okay. Okay, thank you. Thank you for your presentation, Mr. Alexander. It was excellent. We appreciate it. Personnel.
Yes, we let Ms. Taffany is I just put that on it for 3 minutes. 2 little things that we had to follow up on. I wanted to make sure that Ms. Taffany, I introduced the board to Ms. Taffany, who's the director of HR. She's here to my right.
Mm-hmm.
She's been with us for a couple of weeks. And then the other thing is that you all receive an email with annual evaluations in your email. It's that time of year, actually about 4 or 5 months late. But evaluations we done is always on October 1st, and mine was due October 1st. And I just wanted to make sure I mentioned it so that TAP may continue on evaluations because it's February. She'll send it to you for y'all to fill out.
Okay. So, Ms. Taveney, you had anything you wanted to say?
No, Madam Chair, I didn't have anything, but I'll make sure that each of you get the evaluation template.
Right.
And then you'll send it back to me and I'll compile it for you all.
Okay. And now you're going to do that so that we can have it back to you by next board meeting in March?
I'll give you a defined date in the memo that will be included with the instructions.
Okay. Mr. Alexander, you're absolutely right. We are behind the 8 ball with your evaluation. We're hoping that our Board of Commissioners can really get caught up on our evaluations and getting them out on time, because I know, all of you deserve everything that y'all get. So we want to definitely, I want to encourage all of our commissioners, please look for that information when personnel sends it out so that we can get Mr. Alexander on the right page he needs to be on, as well as we did our employees. And so, because they do an excellent job, and we thank you for that. And that is part of our old business. Any other commissioner have any old business that we would like to cover today? Any old business? Any new business? Well, our new business, we just talked about it, that we're going to make sure we be on top of this evaluation for Mr. Alexander so that we can get it back in and do his evaluation so that we can move that. Any other, Mr. Alexander, is it any other new business that the Board of Commissioners needs to know?
No, we don't have anything at this point, Madam Chair. We are good.
Okay, to our legal team, is it anything that y'all wanted to cover with us today?
No, nothing other than I mentioned to the board, I think at the last meeting, or maybe it was a conversation I had with Mr. Alexander, that we do need to fill the officer positions pursuant to the bylaws. You rightfully are serving as the chair for 30 days, and then the board has another 60 days to make a decision on the permanent officers. So right now you do not have a vice chair. You're serving as the acting chair. And so I would recommend at your next meeting, or either the April meeting, that you have elections to fill those positions permanently. And that would also possibly affect any committee assignments that, you as chair may want to put in place.
And I'm so glad, Ms. Lazikia, that you brought that up, because, and I know I was hoping that Commissioner Phillip would have still been on the line with us, but of course we all heard that she had an emergency, because I were concerned about the resident relations committee that we had in place to see, because according to the way we do resident relations, it's scheduled for March. The next one is scheduled for March. I did host the one for January, and so the next one is scheduled for March. And so I was hoping that Commissioner Phillip had been on the line, but nevertheless, hopefully we'll be able to reach out to her, Mr. Alexander, and see, and if necessary, I'll step up, because I am a part of that committee.
Well, I can support that. Let me know if you need any help.
Okay, all right, okay. So, if that being all,
Yes.
Ms. Cook, you have anything to say?
No, I'm good.
Okay, thank you. All right. So that being all, that will close out our meeting for the Board of Commissioners for February the 16th, 2021. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
And that moves us to Brentwood. At this time, we are gonna get ready for our Brentwood Board of Commissioners meeting for Tuesday, February the 16th, 2021. Call to order. Any public comments? Seeing that there's no public comments. Approval for the minutes for November the 16th, 2021. Have all of the commissioners reviewed the minutes for November the 16th, 2020? That should be, correction, that should be November the 16th, 2020, not 21. Have all the commissioners reviewed those minutes for Brentwood? Any questions? Can I get a motion to approve the minutes?
I'll move.
Second.
It was moved in second. All in favor? Aye. With the correction of, oh, that was just on our agenda, wrong. All right. Cost and admin committee. Mr. Dennis.
Good afternoon, Commissioners.
Good afternoon.
We are looking at Brentwood Park as of January 31st, 2021. So again, we're in our 4th month of our fiscal year. So we're looking at our percentages at 33%. For our income, we're at 3% favorable. Our income year to date is $921,475 versus a budget of $843,052. And then for our income, or for our expenses, we're at 33%, so we're right on track. We're actually a little bit less than what we have budgeted. So overall, Brentwood is doing very well. Any questions?
The only question I have is, I'm sorry, Madam Chair. The only question I have is the question we continue to ask is, when will we be able to consolidate this report into our board meeting? That's a question from Ms. Cook or Ms. Hodges.
I'm sorry, through the chair to Commissioner Griggs. What was your question again? I didn't catch it.
When will we be able to consolidate this meeting or this report, this action into our regular board meeting?
Well, if you
We can't hear you.
You missed all those great compliments I was giving. For the new commissioner, we just, for his benefit, we have an outside counsel that we engage. This is Saxon Gilmore to help us with these types of deals. And originally the deal was the Brentwood Parks deal. And through our outside counsel, you may recall, commissioners, that this topic came up. And their counsel was that if you wanted to go ahead and merge the entities right now, you could. But I recall their recommendation was to not do that because there's still a period in which the IRS can audit the files. And so the outside counsel was recommending that the best practice would be to let that audit period pass. I don't know what, I can't recall. Dwayne, you might recall where we are in this 5-year period. But I mean, from a legal standpoint, if you wanted to, you could. But again, outside counsel's recommendation was to let that audit period pass from a tax standpoint.
Okay, thank you for that. So maybe what we need to get is sort of a recommendation on when that date is, so we can stick a pin in it. And when it passes, we can take action. Because, you know, for obvious reasons.
Very good.
Right, and through the chair, I'm happy to, I guess, Dwayne, that was about a couple of years ago, but I'm happy to revisit this topic with Saxon Gilmore, and maybe we're so close to the end of that period where right now they feel fully comfortable going ahead and collapsing, you know, the entities where there isn't any more existence of a separate entity. So I'm happy to just do that quick telephone follow-up.
For sure.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions about Brentwood Park? If that being all, can I get a motion to close out Brentwood Park?
So,
It was moved in second. All in favor?
Aye.
That ends our Brentwood meeting and our Board of Commissioners meeting for February the 16th, 2021. Thank all of you for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Great job. Thank you.
Yeah, shady.